life can distract us, can get us off course. Problems can come that change your mind. What you got to know is that God is enough. Like there are times in which culture's kind of suggested to us we need God plus something. But God alone is God. So we need God to move. Amen. In some sense, we're asking people to help so that only God can unlock because God shut the door in the first place. Yes. There's some people who God has strategically positioned to leave our life, and we keep trying to go get them back. And He's saying, "No, I'm enough. So I need them to leave so that you can see who I am in your life." Yes. Times in which there was a problem that might have arisen, and you couldn't quite figure out why it took place, but it was God showing us that He is enough. And if you didn't get anything kind of in that series we worked through at the end of the year last year, it's that if God is enough, and He looks at you and says that He made you in His image, it means that you have what it takes to make it through what you're going through, because He is who He is, you are who you are, therefore you are enough. And sometimes we feel void, and we feel deficient, and we feel insecure, and we feel like we don't have what it takes, and we feel like we won't make it through, and we feel like this, and we feel like that. But when I've got God on my side, yes, I've got to know that everything is going to be okay. Yeah. That no matter what comes my way, God is with me. Amen? Amen. Well, listen, I am overjoyed in so many ways. I'm thrilled to jump into this next week of the series today. And if you're watching online, or if you know somebody who's watching online, or if you know somebody who said, "I came to church last week and this series here ain't for me, so they didn't come," I need you to text them and tell them that the Lord knows that they ditched church because they didn't want to get changed. Y'all didn't hear me. Anybody who chooses not to come during the series because they don't want change to happen. And if they don't want change to happen for their life, we can't want it to happen more than that. But I can say, as the person God's supposed to lead this spiritual family, this one right here has the capacity that if you allow it to, that His word is living, it's like a double-edged sword, it cuts and it heals. This is one that can change our minds and a whole lot of stuff together. And so if you're watching online, I'd love to see your face in the place next week. Seeing you and being able to spend time with you means so much more than you ever know. And so if there was a series I can pick to start the year off, I don't want you to miss and pick weeks that you come. This is going to be one of those. I believe that every week it builds and every week we need it. So if you know somebody that thought about coming to contemplate a text and something to watch, then next week your assignment is to make sure that they show up. Amen? Can y'all do that for me? Amen. Listen, I want to jump straight into it, but I do want to do this for a moment just because I kind of honor the privilege to have him here with us. The Mayor of Bellwood is here. Mayor Harvey, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you. I don't take it lightly for you being here with us. And then again, it's Black History Month. And, you know, many of us, honestly, I was talking to Chris in the back, and sometimes I struggle with it because I feel like that I'm black every day. I was born black, I'm gonna die black. We need to represent black all day. Some of y'all ain't rolling with me, it's okay. I'm not saying we need to revolt, but I'm just saying we need to recognize our culture. We need to tell our kids about black people more than in February. And so I'm not taking away from the month. I don't want to go on that kind of spiel, but I do want to say that this month should teach us the validity and making sure we're embedded in Him. But Chief, if I'm not mistaken, you used to be Chief. Now you're Mayor. He's the boss. He's the Chief Executive Officer of the village. But no, he has absolutely gone through the village's ranks. And I was at an event early this year and late last year where he told his story, part of his story, about he just came through so much in the village. The racism and prejudices that existed, and ultimately overcame him to now be the bosses of those who once felt a way about him, to now be the first African-American mayor of Bellwood, probably, arguably, in that ranking as it relates to cities and sizes of those who have gone on to absolutely make incredible accomplishments. So I want to say thank you for the example that you have set. I watched him throughout high school. As his daughter went to high school with she was a couple classes around me, and I got to just kind of watch him set that example at that pace. And there's some people who you have no clue how much they'll impact your life, but you have to be willing to trust and watch and pick up what you can, and then you have to be willing and knowledgeable enough to go back and tell them thank you, even if they don't know what you're thanking them for. And so there are times I know for a fact I saw Mayor and I just said thank you. I'm sure he has no clue why, but there was an example that he set before me. As somebody who grew up without a father, I got to see a man show up and be consistent, nothing else for kids at school.
Yeah.
While he was doing his other things, and you still do it to this day. I don't know how you make time to still coach and mentor and run a village and raise a family and be for me, it's pictures.
Right.
I share with you all the time. For me, I didn't have consistency as that influence, but I had pictures to build off of. Right. And it allowed me to make something ultimately. And I had to navigate it and figure it out. But I can always go back to some of the things I saw men do, and I hold it with such high regard. And so if I could employ anybody to do anything, it's to not take your life for granted, because like I said last week, your life has purpose. Amen. Your purpose is an answer to a problem, and you have no clue who is watching you. Yes. Good and bad.
That's right.
Good and bad. And so, Mayor, I say thank you, and I'd be remiss if I didn't do that right there.
Thank you.
And absolutely, absolutely. Listen, I want to jump right into the word. Is that all right? Yes, listen, we missed Bible study again last week. The weather called, and I thought it was going to be terrible ice storm. Some people did have accidents, so I value your safety. But listen, it looked like none of that happened this Tuesday. So you need to make plans now. And listen, if it is a prediction that it might come, get your boots, because I'm still going to church. All right, unless the roads are blocked because Bird Box done broke out. I'm coming to Bible study on Tuesday, and I need y'all to meet me here. All right, we haven't had it all year, and I can't wait to get into this series because I feel like you all desperately need this for the decisions you need to make in life. And so Bible study on Tuesday. If you're watching and you feel convicted because I just whooped you a little bit about not coming to church today, it's okay. Make it up for me by coming to Bible study on Tuesday and church on Sunday. That's how you can make this make me so much more happier, and we'll all grow together. But I can't wait. It's about discerning the voice of God, and you definitely want to be there for that. Listen, this series, When Loving You Is Killing Me, is absolutely principled around this notion that there's just stuff that we love sometimes that's hurting us, that's detrimental to us, it's not beneficial toward us. So I want to jump right into that. Bible study, this will come on Tuesday, then we're doing baptism on the first Sunday. Some of you all have already expressed that you want to get in the water, so we'll make sure that you sign up for that. Go to the website and stop by the table to sign up. You can sign up at the website, or you can go to the table and let us know that we're doing it. That weekend is going to be crazy for us. March is going to be March Madness for us. March is going to be incredible. We're starting off strong. Training day is that first Saturday. This is going to be that Sunday. And then I think we're going to do a community day, try and get as many of our leaders from the community to come by, and we meet them on that first Sunday as well. If we can, we're going to try and put that together. But I want to throw it out there, especially since the mayor showed up today. I hadn't invited you because I planned on inviting you to a formal gathering, but thank you for your presence in this place. And we want to make sure we do that, all right? Yes, y'all with me? Well, loving you is killing me. I want to jump right in. Last week, we kind of worked through it, and I didn't quite get to finish where I left off, but I made it very, very clear that this idea is relevant on more than one front, right? I said that you can apply this passage that we've been taught to this idea that there are bad choices that we make. Sometimes some of us have a picking problem, right? You just don't pick right. You don't pick clothes right. You don't pick mates right. You pick based on availability. I was lonely. He was cute, or he wasn't as ugly as. Let's talk maybe he was cute. Sometimes he's not as ugly as the other one was. Sometimes he just answered the phone right. Sometimes I saw this. So sometimes we pick wrong with mates. Sometimes we pick wrong with decisions. You rushed into buying a car. I've shared with you all before that I didn't know any better. And so I traded in cars and bought cars, and I got wiser now to the place where we're down to one car, and we know we probably need a second car for some stuff. I'm just like, I don't want to do that again. right? Because as you get older, you should make different decisions. This series, this year becoming, is about doing what? Growing up.
Yeah.
I don't want you to just go up. We should grow up. I don't want you to just evolve, get new positions, get new this, but that mind doesn't change. Paul says, when I was a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child, but when I became an adult, I put away child. When I became mature, I put away childish things. I grew up. That's that whole idea. And so last week, as we worked through it from a very principled aspect, we looked at Judges chapter number 16. Right, within Judges chapter number 16. And last week is when we began, we kind of worked through that whole idea where there was Samson, there was Delilah. I want to jump straight into the passage for today, and then I'll come back and give some context as needed. Read the rest of it when you get a chance, but I want to jump right into verse number 15 today. And it says this, and she said to him, how can you say, I love you, when your heart is not with me? You have mocked me these 3 times, and you have not told me. It's all right, don't worry about it. Has not told me where your great strength lies. And when she pressed him hard with her words, day after day, and urged him, his soul was vexed to death. And he told her all his heart. And he said to her, a razor has never come upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite to God from my mother's womb. If my head is shaved, then my strength will leave me, and I shall become weak like any other man. When Delilah saw he had told her all his heart, she sent and called the lords of the Philistines, saying, come up again, for he has told me all his heart. Then the Lord of the Philistines came up to her and brought the money in their hand. She made him sleep on her knees, and she called the man that had shaven his head 7 times, and then she began to torment him, and his strength left. And she said, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. He awoke from his sleep and said, I will go out as other times, and I will shake myself free. But he did not know that the Lord had left him. Here's what the thought is I want to consider today. Last week I raised this question to ask you, is it worth it? Right? I asked you the question, is it worth it? That there are things in which when you're growing up, you have to evaluate your decisions, not just based upon what's convenient, but is it worth it? That there are some things in which in life that we sacrifice for that simply aren't worth it. Evaluate it differently. We would evaluate people differently. We go to places differently. We would make different decisions if we ask the question, is it worth it? Is it worth it to watch TV and not do my homework knowing I got tests tomorrow? It's the end of the quarter. Is it worth it? I texted Rezo a picture something this week, and it will say that the biggest distraction for preachers preparing for sermons today is not the fact that we don't have time, it's that social media exists. And so we scrolling when we should be studying. Amen. Right? Is it worth it? And so I told you last week we got to ask the question. Here's what I said. You have to find out, is it worth it? Because number one, that is your purpose worth it? Is it worth your purpose, right? That was number one. Is it worth your purpose? Because your purpose is on the line. So every decision you make, when you're evaluating this, you got to realize your purpose is an answer to a problem. That God did not bring you here just to bring you here. That He brought you here, He gave you life. He gave you an assignment for a reason. And your purpose is an answer to that problem. That the very reason Samson existed was there was a problem breaking out in the land. God said, I'm going to take you, I'm going to take this man and this woman, I'm going to give you the answer to your nation's problem in Samson, and I'm going to give you the assignment as parents to raise him different. That's what happens. I had a chance to really work that. But he gets an assignment. The parents get an assignment and say, I'm going to raise him to be a judge. I'm going to raise him to be a leader. Raise him like it. Amen. And there are sometimes that, I'm going to say it how I feel, if you feel how you want to feel about it, because it might not be your story, but it might be somebody else's. Sometimes we neglect the assignment of faithfully raising our kids, and we think that it's not as serious as it is. Sometimes I think we don't really see the priority of it, because it's more than just saying they got a roof over their head. It's more than saying they got stuff in there to put on. That it is what we instill in them, how we raise them. So Proverbs says this way: train up a child the way that we should go. In their old age, they may depart, they may stray, but they won't depart. Because it's how you raise them. They had an assignment for Samson's life. I'm going to do something different in his life, but he's only going to get it if you raise him like it. Is it possible? And I'm going to raise this question knowing what some of the answer may be, because there are some parents which I've had to have this conversation with that sometimes they don't realize that their child is the beast they created them to be. So now you're mad when you raised them. You built this beast. You didn't tame it when it was younger, and so now it got older and it wants to fight. You can't check it now.
Yes.
And so now all you really can do is pray, because now the thing that got so strong
Amen. Say it.
that only God can intervene now and help you get the wisdom you need to wrap the arms around it. But here's what I'm saying back to it, is if we learn to catch it early, if we learn to watch the signs even when it's getting out of our control. Because sometimes one of the most prideful things I've dealt with in youth pastoring in particular were parents who said, I can do it, and they couldn't.
Amen.
The fact you can't do it on your own is not an indictment on your bad parenting.
Come on.
Resources are available now with intentionality. You remember that week I prayed for children and families. I prayed that we can become a resource center for parents to help parent kids, because this day is different.
Amen.
Yeah, challenges are a lot the same. Crime is still crime, and drugs are still drugs, and this is still this. But before you can keep them out of some trouble by keeping them in the house, that's not quite the story today. You keep them in the house and they got a phone, they got access to far more than you being in the streets.
Yes.
And so we have to be aware of that, and it's not an indictment, it's to say I want us all to wake up.
Yeah.
And say that sometimes I can love my kids so much and it kills me, and I could have built this beast, and now this beast is grown, and now you're trying to figure out how to raise this grown adult that you built the beast inside of, and all you can do is release them to God.
Amen.
And trust that what you put in them is enough. Am I making sense? This is tough, it's tight, but I just don't want you to relegate this down there. I don't want men to walk out and say, yeah, I'm just not going to marry Delilah or get with Delilah. That's not the point of this message. That's not the premise of this series. Or wives to walk out of here and be like, yeah, you my Delilah. And it's just like, no, that's not the premise. Because there's times in which here it is, all of us, I said last week, all of us can be Samson, all of us can be Delilah, all of us can be Samson, and Delilah can be a lot of stuff. Because Delilah shows up as a distraction.
Yeah.
Right? So Delilah can be stuff. The reality of this is week for me was, man, Delilah can be, you can be your own Delilah.
Amen. Amen.
Talk.
Come on.
And the problem ain't the fact you need to leave. A lot of problems you need to wake up and treat it different.
Amen.
Amen.
Am I making sense?
Yes.
And so I said this last week that is it worth your purpose? You got to ask the question, is it worth my purpose? Because if not, you will understand it will cost you your purpose. Bad decisions, bad picks, unwise moves will cost you your purpose. That Samson's purpose was on the line, and your purpose is an answer to the problem. As a result, the nation suffered because of one man's bad decisions. And what you've got to know is that there are times in which God strategically positions you to be the difference maker, so you have to make better decisions.
Yeah.
Amen.
Because your decisions are consequential. That there are other lives associated with your decision making. And so you've got to see your life as a bigger part of God's story. Am I making sense?
Yes.
So your purpose, it can cost you your purpose if you don't make, not just if you make bad decisions, if you don't wake up. Right? Because the problem was Samson kept going back to Delilah. She kept saying, tell me how are you going to do this? And he would go tell her how, and she would try to kill him, and it wouldn't work, but he would go lay his head back down.
Amen.
Yeah, she showed her colors and you went back. Is it her fault or yours?
Talk.
Yeah, she showed you who she was and you went back and tried it again because you thought she was stronger than you are. I'm going to get to that in a second. It can cost you your purpose. Number two, I said it cost you your freedom, right? Because he kept going back, he was bound. It says she tied him up each and every time. And the enemy's goal is to get us bound, to get us trapped, to get us stuck. So he bound them up. It can cost you your freedom. It can cost your family their freedom. I told you the reason why I don't shop like you shop is because I care about my freedom. I want financial freedom.
Amen.
So I feel like the stores want my money. I feel like they want my freedom. So I feel like every time I look at something nice, I feel like it's saying, give me your money. Give me your freedom. Give me your 40 plus hour work week. Give me your sleepless nights because I want it. And I resolved that I want my freedom more than I want most of this stuff. Am I making sense?
Amen.
And so it can cost you your freedom. So sometimes it can be financial. We'll dig into that a little bit deeper. It can cost you your name. Because of Samson's historical bad decision making with women, these Philistines knew that Delilah could be the access point to his heart. Because he had just picked a harlot right before that. So they discovered that based upon his history, he has a path. And if I can discover what tempts you and what traps you, I can catch you. And the enemy's key, I said this as a close lesson, the enemy's key to getting us is self-destruction. That he doesn't necessarily need anybody else. He needs to know what your own proclivities are, and he can trap you up that way.
Amen.
And so the goal is not to become strong where I'm weak all the time. Sometimes you'll never become strong where you're weak, but you can't become smart where you are weak. Right? So I said, if shopping is your deal, maybe you need to unsubscribe from the emails and the text alerts. You can't stop going to Krispy Kreme when the light come on. Unsubscribe from the text message, right? It's like, yeah. Well, Macy's got that Super Saturday sale. Man, they got that Super Saturday one-day sale every week. It's not one time, it's one day. It is one day every 2 days out of the week. This one right here, you just don't understand. This is this is Saturday, one day, and it's what's the name of the one they have where it's the sale underneath they say? Act Now. It's like Act Now, where it's like 85% off of whatever the sale price is. And you're like, man, this is from the Lord. This is God. God did this. Freedom is on the line. It can cost you freedom. But I'm saying it can cost you your name, and sometimes we don't really process it that way. But our decision making, us staying in bad stuff, toxic stuff, can cost you your name. Samson's name was tarnished. They knew they could trap Samson with women because he had kept falling for bad women. So they took Delilah, they took what he loved and used it against him. So they showed up and they said, Delilah, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to offer you this money. And I'm going to offer you this money to sacrifice Samson's life. And so because Delilah didn't have her money right, she fell for the trap. So what I said about that was last week, that if we get our money right, you won't fall for the traps of the enemy as it relates to your finances. That you won't make decisions about life based upon money. You won't wonder about whether or not you can do this based upon money. You can figure out how you're going to get it done without worrying about how you're going to pay for it or foot the bill, because some of us have made terrible decisions because we had to get the money some kind of way.
My God.
It's quiet.
Amen.
Some of us, your story is you were with some people you were with because you needed the money. You didn't like them. Y'all not going to be real? See, I know I got a real church. Y'all don't want to be real. Y'all don't want people to know how messy some of y'all have been. You don't want them to know how deceitful you could have been. And some of y'all like, man, I don't want my spouse to know that. That's why I'm with them now. I hope that's not the case. I don't believe that's the case in this room. But it is times in which we make decisions based upon money. What can you do for me? And your name was on the line. Samson's name was on the line. He got with Delilah. They knew it was his trap. That was the last thing I said last week. That it can cost you your future. It can cost you your future. That bad decisions can cost you your future. Unwise choices can cost you your future. Everything you worked hard to build can be gone because of you not making better decisions. It can cost you your future. You can work your whole life for something, and all of a sudden, because you didn't make wise decisions, it can cost.
Amen.
It can cost you. Am I making sense?
Yes.
And so some of us have settled for people, places, and things when God's calling us to so much more. But you will never be able to pick right when you see wrong. Right? So prayer helps you see what you need to see. So all of us need God to open our eyes to see something different. Today I want to talk about this idea. And I'm almost finished already. Last week I talked about the fact of is it worth it. Today I want to talk about it costs too much.
Wow.
It costs too much. Because because once you understand the fact that it's not worth it, I also need you to evaluate that there are some stuff in life that costs too much to sacrifice.
Yes.
Yeah, so one is putting a value on it. The other is saying, look, you're wasting this other stuff, and it's costing you entirely too much to be playing around with this, because you will never get healed. You will never get set free from that which you misdiagnosed. If you don't realize what's really at stake, you'll keep misdiagnosing the problem, and you'll think, oh, it's just this, or they just this way, or maybe this is just how this is supposed to be, and you know in your heart of hearts it's fundamentally off, but you keep playing with stuff that's tearing you up. Am I making sense?
Amen.
You can never do it. And so this is about advancement, right? So if I'm going to advancement requires confidence, and confidence comes from clarity. So I got to become clear on what it's going to cost me. Because there's some stuff that you're playing with and you're tampering with, and that's what I tell you forthrightly, it will cost you some stuff. Samson's decisions cost him a whole lot. Samson's decisions actually cost him a nation. Because our decisions have absolute consequences associated with them. So you've got to understand that. So number one, I'm going to jump straight into my points. Is that all right? Yes, sir. I want to make sure you get these today, and I don't want to have to do what I did today. So number one, your faith. Losing your faith will cost you. Losing your faith will cost you. What does that mean? If you look at how this panned out, when you look at how this panned out and you look at how the story continued to go, you understand that he was placed in a place of bondage, right? That he begins to tell Delilah what happened, this is how you can get it, and it bound him up in such a way where he was trapped. And as he was there, when you're bound and when you're stuck in bondage, when you're in a dark space, when you feel like there's no outlet, when you feel like there's no way out, when you can't quite see your way out, if you're not careful about developing your faith, it will slowly begin to seep down, and if you lose your faith, you will lose the fight.
Talk. Amen.
It's why I talk all the time, and look, I get the fact that culture tells you that church isn't important, but this stuff we deal with, you need to get somebody's word some kind of way.
Amen.
And the word is absolute truth about saying, forsake not yourselves, you're assembling the saints together. And some people I talk to on a regular basis, but then you ditch church for a little while, and I check on you, like, yeah, I'm just trying to figure this out. It's like, no, your faith was strengthened here. You need to get to the place where your faith was strengthened for the fight you got to fight. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
It's your faith gets strengthened that way. And so here it is, as they're in bondage. They're in bondage for so long, but as you're in bondage, it can desperately drown out the voice of faith. And so God says you can be free. And all of a sudden your bondage starts talking back to you saying, well, why aren't you free? Never been there. Yep. Your faith is saying, I can do it. I can be there. And in bondage, darkness, the voice in your ear starts saying, if you could do it, you would have did it by now. It's too late. If you could get free, why are you trapped? You said you would start the year off right. It's already week 3. We're in the week, 6 now, and you've already stumbled this many times. If you would go to bed, why didn't you do it by now? Some of you all are trying to figure out when you'll get married. And so you keep believing God for the spouse. And then all of a sudden, the enemy sneaks in and says, well, if you were going to marry, you would have been married by now according to your life plan, because it was by 28 you had this, by 30 you had this, by 32 you had this, and by 38 you thought you'd be retired with $1 million in the bank. That's how most of our life plan sounds. It's completely illogical, and we for some reason think it makes sense to us.
Amen.
Yeah, right? Your faith costs too much to lose. So you have to be, so what does that mean? That means you have to be intentional about building your faith. That's why we fast. We don't fast here because I like calling fast. We don't fast here because I believe you all follow the fast. We don't fast here because I like printing up documents to give you about fasting. We don't fast here because I like sending you emails. We don't fast here because I like sending you text messages. We fast because I believe in the spiritual discipline of fasting because it should lead you closer to God. Yes. It is faith conditioning. When you are working out to become a better athlete, you condition your body. If you are going to become a fully empowered believer, you got to know that your faith has to be properly conditioned. Your faith is suffering because you're not in your word. Your faith is struggling because you're not praying like you say you pray. And some people say we pray. Oh yeah, do you pray? Yeah, I pray. Do you really? Do you read your word like you know you can read your word? Or do you say you don't have time to read your word, but you get time to scroll? Somebody say, ouch. Yeah, this is an owl sermon, not a wow sermon. I should have warned you that first. But if I want to say that first, you might have got up and left. Like everybody else who didn't come to church this week, I'm like, yeah, this too much for me, Pastor. This too much real. I come back next week when you talk about something different. I ain't trying to get this together. Faith requires conditioning. It requires conditioning. You got to be connected to the right stuff, in the right stuff, getting the right stuff. Otherwise, then your faith will silently just fall to the wayside. Faith is the substance of things, so forth. It's the evidence of that what I can't see. So I got to build it because most of the time I can't see what I'm believing for. So I got to be building that because I'm reaching for something I can't see. So I got all of life raging around me, trouble raging around me, the enemy raging around me. I made bad decisions all around me. I need something to build my faith because my circumstances and my facts tell me this ain't going to happen. Bondage. My decisions led me to a place where I'm bound. So I need faith to get me strong enough to get out of it. Because if not, losing your faith will cost you.
Amen.
Samson was not following God. That's how he got here. And if we're going to be honest, most of us end up where we are, or end up how we got there because we made, again, we said, God gave me this discount. That's why I bought it. on my Macy's card that's already maxed out. The Lord didn't want that said out in your face. Am I making sense? And I keep going back to money with this because some of you all, if I just stick with relationships, you think I'm telling you to leave your partner. I'm not telling you to leave your partner. Some of you all, the partner is not your problem. Your mentality is.
It's true.
Yeah, I'll work that next week. Y'all get into that one. Maybe your friends will come to church next week if I talk about that. So here it is, your bondage. And I'm almost over my time, so I want to stay with it so we can get out of here on time today. Because bondage, here it is. Bondage wants to form your theology based upon your experience, not what the scripture says. So bondage wants to form your reality based upon what you see, not based on what you see with your eyes. I told you before that the eyes in your head give you sight. The eyes in your heart give you vision. And so my faith is not based on what I can see up here. It's based on what I feel in here. It's what God said. It's what people have spoken. It's what's happened to me. It's how I process it. So losing your faith can cost you. So you should not run from your problems. We've got some of us. Say exactly how I feel. Some of us, you run from so much, and the only reason why you are where you are is because you won't run towards your problem and fight it like David. Yeah, so we are conflict averse. We avoid it. You run from it. But if you would make up your mind, I am a soldier in this. He's giving me what I need in this. Say what you want to say about me. I'm gonna throw my rock a bit, and I'm just gonna believe my rock is gonna work. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Yeah, you got to fight it. You will never conquer what you don't confront. So you got to have enough faith to say, man, I don't have what you have. I don't have this. I don't have that. But I got these 5 rocks, and I believe I ain't even going to need 5 of them. Let me throw my one.
Yeah. Amen.
If I could just throw my one. Am I making sense?
Amen.
Yeah, there's some stuff I was like, yeah, if I could just pray about it. Let me get some prayer. For me, some Sundays, if I can just get to church.
Amen.
Some Sundays, there were times when none of y'all show up. If I just get to the mic, I don't care who out there. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
So you got to be able to know your faith can get you out. Number 2, you're losing your focus can cost you. Some of you all got faith, but you don't have focus. You need both. So you believe in God for everything. That's not clear. You should believe God in everything. So let me make sure I don't walk in and you all take a false statement that I didn't say. But you're not clear on what you're fighting. You're not clear on what issue needs to be addressed. So you just, I'm just believing God. Well, if he wants to say, what do you need me to do? You're going to say everything? Well, some of you are, yes. But your focus is on. Here it is. Bondage wants to rob you of your attention. If Samson was not distracted by Delilah, he would have saw the trap. His focus was off. He wouldn't have just saw the trap. It says, Ron, give it to me real quick. It says right there, it says that she made him sleep on her knees, and she called a man and had him shave on his head. So the man these people were in his house, and he was so focused on Delilah, he didn't know that the enemy was in his house. Yeah, they didn't come in the door. They didn't break in. This woman had let the enemy in the house, but he was so focused on this, he didn't even see that. Your focus can cost you too much. And so all of a sudden you get distracted by this and you lose your focus. Peace requires focus. Some of you don't have peace because you're not focused on it. You focus on the problem but not God. You focus on the problem but not this. And you keep getting distracted by this other stuff. And the enemy wants to take our peace because peace requires focus. Samson's eyes got gouged out because he wasn't focused. Read the text. I don't have time. Go back and read it. Chapter 16. It says they ended up gouging out his eyes. He lost his focus. You can't afford to lose your focus. You can't afford to lose your focus. It costs too much. Number 3, you can't afford to lose your fortitude. It will cost you too much. What is fortitude? Fortitude is this courage to keep going, even when you feel like stopping.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's this inner strength that you need to keep going despite all the facts. Because bondage takes the fight out of you. And again, I told you all last year that there was a point in time where I was wrestling through really a debilitating faith season, right? I didn't have the same kind of confidence in God that I used to have. And as I was wrestling through it, it takes fortitude to feel the pain and go anyway. To be unsure and go anyway. To be unclear and keep going anyway because you believe God. Fortitude. It's courage with action. So you can't flow in your calling because the dollar keeps calling you to your 9 to 5. You don't have enough freedom. So you can't leave the 9 to 5 to go walk in calling. And as a result, every time you want to go do something for God, you're too tired. That makes sense? It's this idea of the fact, and I'm not talking about anybody, it's this sometimes we get so caught up in the other stuff, and it drains you in such a way. And here's what we say, but I would serve, Pastor, but you know, I work 7 days a week. And I'll say how I feel, I got the mic, as if I'm at home twiddling my thumbs all week. Right? At this particular stage, I get to go to work like you get to go to work.
Amen.
Right? So when we talk about that, it's fortitude. It is saying, I'm going to press past the season I'm in because my goal is greater.
Yes, sir.
It's saying, I feel the pressure and the pain, but I'm at the crunch line and I want to win so bad, I'm going to press through the mental barriers that the enemy is trying to use to stop me. And sometimes the enemy is using what you built yourself. So you built this structure. So the enemy is using what you built, right? He's using this faulty system you built. You put yourself in debt, not the enemy. It gets real quiet when I start talking about that. It's just like, people like, you talk about a whole lot of stuff. Quit talking about I don't view my debt as debt. If MasterCard gave it to me, they gave me freedom. No. MasterCard didn't give you freedom. MasterCard gave you interest rates out of this world. That's not freedom. Chase freedom. That Chase freedom card is everything but freedom. That thing is everything but freedom. Fortitude. Shamari shared at training day last Saturday that when him and his wife decided they won't get financially free, that it took such fortitude that they cut cable, they cut internet, they cut everything most of us view as a necessity. And they started putting their money in the way in which certain writers write about it. So they started paying each of their bills in envelopes. Right? Dave Ramsey writes about it. This is one of his methods. He said he had a big envelope bills. Envelopes for bills. So this bill will get paid. I have to take this money and put this money here. I do this and put this here. And so each time they would get tired, they said, no, I got a purpose that's bigger than this. I know we want to break rank. We're trying to work towards something. Fortitude to keep going. Most of us are like, yeah, I know, but you don't understand. It's on sale. No, you don't understand. It's just every time they. I got one. So I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm going to say it close around it. So you're like, yeah, I'm not going to go back over there, but they called me this one more time. I know I said that was my last time, but you know, what's one time? Jesus, come on, Jesus. Y'all see, y'all don't want to be real today. The people who didn't come to church, they would have backed me up on that. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. They were out of energy. And some of the stuff you're up against is not the fact that you can't win it. You don't have the energy to fight it. That's fortitude. Some of the stuff is not that you can't win. It's you're too tired. You spent all day stressing about stuff you can't change, and now you don't want to face the stuff you got to face. Still going to be there. So you either realize that it's still going to be there and you're going to kill that giant. You conquer that thing. You make up in your mind that my purpose is worth it. And I'm going to fight for it. Or you can say, you know what? I'm going to lose this fight. And this year, I thought it was going to be the year I became, but I don't. I thought this year would be the year that something is different, but it doesn't. It's totally up to you. It's totally up to you. Ron, what's my last thing? Here it is. You've got a reason to resolve this on your own. Whether or not you want to walk in this. I said this last year at a certain point in time, and it kind of stuck with me preparing for this week in this series, is that if I'm going to believe that my life is coming into alignment with everything that God has for me, if I'm really going to believe that, I've got to act like I want to position my life to be aligned with God's will. So my faith has to be priority. So I got to build it. My focus has to be priority. So I got to make sure I'm looking at the right stuff, I'm talking to the right people, I'm building on the right stuff. My fortitude got to be priority. So that means some of us, man, our patience is just. We got to figure out what it means to build enough resistance to walk through the challenges, to feel the fire, feel the heat, and keep going knowing that you got something greater in store that you're fighting for. If you don't do that, you're going to be stuck, you're going to be in bondage, you're going to be trapped, you're not going to get out. It's unfortunate. I wish I could tell you another story, but it's just, that's how it ends. But what I do want to tell you is it doesn't have to be yours. It doesn't have to be your story. That when I look at what it means in this particular passage in the Old Testament, I parallel it with what Jesus did for us in the New Testament. He came so we could get out. He came so we didn't have to be stuck and trapped. He came so we could get out. He came and said, I came that you might have life and life more abundantly. I came so you could get out. I came so you wouldn't have to die in the sins and the traps that you were bound in before. You can make better decisions. You can have eternal life and you can have a better life while you're here. It's possible. But you got to work on building your faith. You got to work on cultivating your focus. Man, what you need to go home and probably just evaluate. Man, what do I do with my time? This week I had stuff to do all week and life happens and all this other stuff. But last night I was up and I was just like, I need a better tracker of how I'm managing my time for the season I'm in. I downloaded an app. And in this app, I started putting in everything I need to get done throughout the course of the day. Everything I have to get done. What are my non-negotiables? Right? Kiss my wife. That's a non-negotiable. See, some of y'all don't prioritize that. That's for another day.
Praise the Lord.
Thank you, Chris. Every day. But prioritize. What else? What rocks do I need to move? Okay, what do I need to get done that can potentially wait? What do I need to get done by this day? And I had to prioritize it. And from there, trying to figure out time blocks. I'm going to spend this hour doing this. I'll spend this hour doing this. I'm going to turn the phone down for this hour because I got to focus. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
But it won't happen by accident. Some of you all think this stuff will happen by osmosis. I dream of genie style, just blinking is done. And this faith walk takes work. Father, we come. Thank you for who you are, what you've done, and what you're doing. I pray, God, that by the power of your Holy Spirit, you'll work in our lives, you'll work through our lives until you'll lead us on the path you want us to go. I thank you for your word. I thank you for how you're showing us that we have so much in store in our lives, for our lives. I pray you stir up the gift in us, but then I pray that you will show us what we need to bring it out of us. Surround us with the right people to help bring it out of us. People who want to see us thrive, people who want to see us live, people who want to see us well, people who want to see us advance the cross, advance the causes, advance the movement, become positive influences for our society. We thank you in advance for how you're doing it. I pray for those who need to make a decision today, for those wherever they may be. I pray that they make it succinctly and confidently, believing that you're at work. For those who are wrestling with this message, they heard it and it pricked something in their heart. I pray, God, that you will give them the words to be able to say, to articulate that which is stirring in their heart. Questions they may have, I pray you give them the confidence to ask the appropriate people. Situations that they feel like they can't make it with on their own, I pray that you give them the wisdom to know they can ask someone else for help. I ask, Lord, that you will do all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Listen, if you're here, I'm already over my time. If you're here, you just make a decision today. Make it. Don't wait. Don't delay. If you're watching online, if you're watching on TV, watching on Comcast, however you need to make a decision, make it today. Decision number one, you need to be baptized. Never been baptized before, but you need to. Never make a decision to say, I trust God for the first time, but today you can make it. You can do it A couple of ways. One way is you can check that box on the Connect card, let us know you're making that decision. Another way is if you're watching online, you click the box that says need prayer. Let us know you're doing it. You can leave a comment if you're watching on Facebook. If you're watching on TV, you can send us a letter. You can call us and let us know. But if you want to make the decision today, I'd love for you to make it. And again, our next baptism will be first Sunday in March, so you're right on time to get in line to go down for that decision. Maybe your second decision is you need a church home without a spiritual family. I'm not a perfect shepherd. I'm not a perfect pastor. I make no claim to be. There's nobody here as perfect as your brother and sister in Christ. But I tell you all the time that your personal family is neither, but you still love them. You still trust them. And so my request is that you'll realize that spiritual family is incredibly important. I can't imagine doing life without one at this particular stage. I did life without one for a while, and it wasn't comfortable. And I realized how badly I needed one when I found one. And so I want to invite you to make a decision today to join this spiritual family, become part of it. We'd love to welcome you in. It's a great season to jump in and do that. Third call is this: you need to join a team. You need to get involved. You're part of the church, you're part of this, but you're not active. Look, we need you in this season and in this stretch. Just greater things are ahead, amazing opportunities are before us, outreach, impact, all of the above. So I'd love for you to help us in that particular way. Maybe you just need prayer. Fill out that Connect card. There's a prayer box on the bottom. Stop by, see us, and do it. We'd love to pray with you. But if you're here, just make a decision today. Don't wait, don't delay. Watching online, same deal. Don't wait, don't delay. Make whatever decision you might need to make so we can continue to carry on the work of the Lord together. Amen? Amen. Amen. Won't you celebrate those who made a decision wherever they are? Somebody